What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich is in the building one more again. Thank you for guys, you for hanging out with your boy on tonight. I got technical difficulties. Normally I should have this done, but I don't have it done. I'm running late. Y'all, please forgive me. Lot going on today. Before we get into the show, please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, on X, Threads, and all that good stuff. So other than that, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with your boy. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to come hang out with me. And with that being said, I want to greet some of y'all in the chat. Robin Monroe Jr., salute. Bo Big, what's good with you? 1 in 100 podcast, salute. Brooklyn, as always, brother man to you. Thank you for joining us. Pericles, what's good? Anthony Manzano, peace and respect. The Eclectic, respect. Chillmonger, as always. Said my first comic starting Mr. Terrific. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Mr. Terrific ain't a bum. But anyway, we're going to get into Mr. Terrific in a second. But, so let me just give y'all some, y'all see it's kind of bare. The bookshelf in the back of me is bare. And, that's because I'm actually getting ready to relocate to Houston. And so I'm relocating back home, back to Houston, hopefully by mid-July, the earliest 1st of August. So going back to Houston. I've had fun here in Fort Worth, been here 10 years, close to 10 years. And so it's time to get back to H-Town. So I'm doing that, and that's been Amir, let me tell you, bro, that has been a task. I'm going to just tell you like that. My man, Bo B, said, we're going to start the night off right. Appreciate you, sir, with the super chat. Let's go, Derek.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get to your comment in a second, Anthony. But yeah, I'm moving back to Houston, and so I'm starting to pack stuff up. And you know how it is let me tell y'all that this married life ain't no joke. When you get married and you've been married as long as me and my wife have, you accumulate a lot of stuff. And, then you get to a point where the older you become, unfortunately, shout out to all the old people, you become a pack rat. And it's hard to part with some stuff. And my wife is on a mission to literally have half our household at Goodwill. So we're getting ready a lot of stuff and that kind of thing. So brother man says, how long have you been married? Been married, it'll be 10 years at the end of this month. 10 years at the end of this month. So, but we've been here in Fort Worth, put down some roots, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I have responsibilities and obligations to my father who is in Houston, and I have to move back home. It's easier for us to move there than it is for me to move him here. So we're going to, uproot and get back down to H-Town. And that's what's up. So anyway, but thank you guys for coming. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about Mr. Terrific, among other things. But I want to get to Anthony Mazzano's comment. He says, I was reading somewhere, Rich, that apparently Blade only sold well when he was part of either Marvel Knights or Midnight Suns. His solo books really didn't do that well. Well, I'll say this. I don't know the numbers. The one thing about the comic book industry is that the comic book industry is very, very, they're not always forthcoming as to what sells. The sales on these books or whatever. And usually when we get sales data, it's usually like 2-3 months after the fact. So I really can't speak to what the Blade book done, the Blade title that Brian Edward Hill wrote, the Red Band, certainly. Midnight Suns, of course, that has different characters in it as well. So there may be some truth to that because you have Ghost Rider fans, you have fans of other characters or whatever. But Blade, by and large, is a popular mainstream character. He's not the most popular horror character, but I would say, well, he probably is. Now I think about it, he probably is next to Ghost Rider. But it's one of those things where I think that when you talk about sales, what's realistic sales for a character like Blade? It just depends. You know what I'm saying? I like horror as a genre. Everybody doesn't like horror. Blade became extremely popular when, Wesley Snipes did his iteration of Blade back in the 90s. So, all in all, you know what I'm saying? Blade is very much a cult following type character, if I can say it like that. Everybody doesn't like Blade. People say that they like Blade, but a lot of people don't follow Blade like that, don't have the books, don't have the first appearances, all of that. Tomb of Dracula's 10 is a very, very expensive book. And there's other books that need Legion of Monsters, Vampire Tales. There's a lot of good horror comics that Blade is in. And, again, it has a cult following, but is it going to sell as much as, say, I don't know, Swamp Thing? Maybe not, because Swamp Thing is a character for DC that does fairly well because it's got some history or whatever. And Blade does too. But, what I'm saying, I don't know the statistics on that to really speak to it. But I just know that we bought it. And, Blood Hunt was a very, very successful crossover with that, Black Panther, and other titles or whatever. So, but now I will say that the Blade Red Band, in my opinion, was not as good as the original run that Brian Edward Hill did, the first run. I feel like that run was kind of flawless, and that should have been what they used to make the movie, but it is what it is. So, in regards says, sending love to the channel in the chat. What's up? Thank you. Anthony Mazzano says, Rich, I'm not sure how much you moved around the state of Texas, but if you did, what city in the state you feel has the biggest concentration of comic book stores, both big chain, mom and pop? I gotta say, probably here, to be honest. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex has crazy comic book stops, some of the best in the world. I'm gonna be honest with you. Duncanville Bookstore is well known. Collected has a couple of shops. I think 3 shops, actually 2 big ones. But Collected has some good shops. Dallas has a number of shops or whatever. Mom and pop shops, they have a healthy balance. You could literally get in your car and go from shop to shop and be in your car all day. That's how many shops there is out here. So I would say that the DFW area has the best shops in all of Texas. I've been to shops in I've been to shops in Lubbock. I've been to shops in San Antonio. I've been to shops in Corpus Christi. I've been to shops in Waco. I've been to shops in, of course, Houston. I've been to shops in, I would say, outside of Houston, Cypress area. But DFW has the best shops by far. Houston has chains and really only has one real big chain, and that is Bedrock Comics. They have some mom and pop shops that are good. They're okay. I shouldn't say they're good. They're okay. They're okay. And that's no shade to them or whatever. But I got to say, for my money, for my time or whatever, Dallas-Fort Worth has the best comic book shops. I have found more keys. I have found bigger books. I mean, I saw matter of fact, this past weekend, I saw a Amazing Fantasy 15 in a shop. Never seen one in my life before, in front of my eyes, hanging up in a shop here. So yeah. He says, we got a Helverine book. Who's buying that? Nah, I'm not buying it. I bought the first book, issue 1. And the only reason why I bought that is because I am a Scotty Young fan. And, I love Scotty Young. He did a Ghost Rider version of Helverine issue number 1. So I bought that, but I haven't read it. Hadn't really followed it like that. Charles Stewart III, gives us a super chat. I want to thank you for the super chat. We'll get to your question in a minute, but let's go, Derek. Yeah, Charles Stewart says, do you think they will make Blade British in the MCU? I would hope that they would, but that's asking too much. They've had too much trouble trying to make this movie. And so finally they decided to scrap it or whatever. So I don't really care about a Blade movie at this point, to be honest. This movie should have been made back in 2023, 2022. I don't, they making a video game. Shout out to all the Black Panther fans who won't get their video game because EA canceled it. But I just don't care. If they do the movie, it would be great to make him British because his origin is British. So, and to me, they should do an origin story for Blade and in the MCU. But we'll see. So, my boy Amir says, "You dollar bin digging while you packing up the house." Yeah, bro. That bird gonna hunt. That bird is gonna hunt. But said, "I'll just write my own Blade script." That's right. I was joking with Reggie Collects, talking about the we all had fun with the. I don't know if Derek. I mean, if Derek, if you could find this slide, or if you could find this the slide. This is from a couple of shows ago. We were having fun with the Gary Coleman Blade slide, and Reggie was the first one I saw with this slide, and I told Reggie that, you know what, I'm just gonna get an Apple iPhone and just get some of my buddies together, and we just gonna make a Blade movie. We're gonna call it Butter Knife. So yeah, the brother man said, "What company owns the rights to Blade?" The Marvel. Marvel owns the rights to Blade. So yeah, but let's see. Mawan says, "Terrific and Herculoids today." So I got the Herculoids book, but we here to talk about. We're not gonna talk about the Herculoids book. I am a Herculoids guy. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it with me a butter knife. That's what he's gonna be. So anyway, but yeah. So there's a lot of books that came out this week, but tonight we're gonna talk about Mr. Terrific issue number 1. Great issue, I gotta say, for a year 1 book. Great issue. Great issue. Anthony Manzano asks, Rich, what are your opinions on Titan Comics Urban Legend Comic Shop, Madness in Games and Comics? Okay, so Titan Comics is expensive. They got some good stuff. But Titan is a little pricey. Urban Legend, I think I've only been there like once, so I really can't speak to them, but I do know about Madness. Madness is okay for your current books. They don't really have a big back issue thing. Big shop for sure. Huge out in Plano. They got some good stuff in there, but they don't really deal with the back issue stuff. So yeah. Mawan says this is butter knife, cholesterol kills. Yeah, man, that's what we gonna do. We just gonna make our own movie. I think that's what I think the fans just ought to just empower themselves and just make their own Blade movies. Do some fan fiction, because Marvel is just not gonna get it together. And to me, if the fans take the opportunity or the time to like really want to do something like this, they should do it and let Marvel. There it is. That's the that's the slide we were having fun with. And but as far as the Blade stuff goes, man, it's a joke at this point. That's why when I saw that, I was really on the floor laughing, because it's like, y'all don't want to do it. So guess what, Marvel? We just gonna have fun at y'all expense. So yeah. So Styles So Serious says, did you see the update on Alfred Features? No, I did not. I have not seen it. Okay. 1-on-1 podcast. Oh, gee, the Illuminati for the AWA FOC is tomorrow. Yes. I saw some I saw some stuff on the internet about the AWA book that Charlemagne the God is doing, and it's up for pre-order. I think the last day, final cutoff day, is tomorrow. So if you guys want to get that, check it out. I do like the story, what it's about. It's going to be about basically there's this old myth, this myth in the music industry that there is a real live Illuminati. And so Charlemagne is getting with Brian Edward Hill, and they're kind of digging into some of that around the music industry. So I'm intrigued for sure. So yeah. Is Afro Preacher still on Kickstarter? I cannot speak to that. Charles the Stewart asked a question. No, let me get to Spider-Man. Spider-Man says New Line Cinema just made the films, and that was before the Disney takeover. Yeah. Collector says Paul cameos as Butterknife and Shaka. Yeah, I'm good for that. Blade killing dinosaurs. Look, I mean, y'all look, I would tell y'all just write your own script. Just sit in the Marvel. Just send everything. Because to me, the only way that they're going to do something is if the fans really call for them to do something. We have been complaining and kind of moaning about this whole situation with Blade, but I don't necessarily know that it's been a huge uproar about it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they have given us update after update after update after update. And no one on that side of the quote unquote entertainment sphere has really responded to anything that the fans have been saying. And so it's kind of like they're going to let the fans do what the fans do, but I just think sometimes we need to take a step further when it comes to some of this stuff. He says, yes, Dennis Cowan is listed to be on the book. Scott Caesar, yo. DC still trash. They pulled the okie doke with the art from Mr. Terrific. The first 2 pages were fire, then it turned to Doonesbury straight garbage water. Stop it. Scott Caesar don't have no filter whatsoever. Let's just go and get into the shenanigans that is Mr. Terrific, year 1, issue number 1. So this book here, I thought was a pretty good book, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that with it being a year 1 story, I think that, you have to, at this point, introduce this character. Even though this character's been in a lot of Justice Society books, whatever, clearly this was a book that's been designed to introduce DCU fans to the character. Because people that know Mr. Terrific know, I've seen him in comic books, I've seen him in animation, I've seen him, in Justice Society books. So this is not for the quote unquote hardcore. So I know Scott C, you feel some type of way or whatever, but just you gotta introduce this character. You gotta introduce this character to some people. So we get this year 1 story, and I think that the intro into it was dope. I gotta say that this is a story that kind of like, to know the backstory of Mr. Terrific and the tragic that he experienced losing his wife and child. If you lost your wife and child, how would you be? You might, what I'm saying, be a little, beside yourself or whatever. Go ahead and switch that panel, Derek, because they spent some time with him, dealing, or you're seeing Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, I should say, in grief. He's grieving in this process, whatever. His house is unkept or whatever, what I'm saying? He's kind of shut in. He's an invalid at this point. He's got a beard and all that, what I'm saying? He's not that dude that we quote unquote love. He's not the 3rd smartest man in the world, but he happens to be the 3rd smartest man in the world that's just grieving his wife. And so in the middle of his grief or whatever, he sells in the story itself, he sells, his corporation to a woman, and it looks like they're going to be dealing with some of the fallout of him, selling this. And some people think that this may be his reaction to grief. I will tell you, as someone who is accommodated with grief, and have seen what grief can do, it can paralyze you. And so to see this, you know what I'm saying, is if you know Michael, if you know the character, you know his history, it's just kind of what he went through or whatever. So this is nothing new for the Mr. Terrific fan base. However, in this particular story, he has a friend that shows up to kind of like help him get over himself and try to, get him on his feet and get him in, back into the action, so to speak. And so I think that that's dope. You know what I'm saying? We see a little brotherhood take place, and it's good to see Terrific, hang out with another black man and kind of chop it up. And, he has looks like a Camaro that he's been working on, or just been in the house, kind of like, chilling. And so, we see, I won't say that this is the first time we actually see any blackness in the Mr. Terrific characters. Certainly that's not the case. If you go back and read the first Mr. Terrific book, Mr. Terrific had a mini series, issues 1 through 8, that was written by a black man named Eric Wallace. Eric Wallace is a producer who worked on a lot of different things, but he's also a comic book writer. He did a lot of work on the Arrowverse. He wrote some books he wrote Titans. He wrote on Titans for a while. One of the biggest books that he did write was he wrote the Blackest Night, Rise of the Black Lanterns. So if you want to check out some Eric Williams stuff, you can check that out. So, it's interesting that in that particular run, they play up his blackness a little bit, but not a whole lot. But in this here, you can see the blackness all over in this particular book here. So, Eldar, what's good with you? So, Chillmonger asks, so is this friend a new character? I don't think that he is. But yeah. Now, in Manzano say the cover is very bland, to be honest. I heard the story sounds interesting, but the comic book art in the front is very plain. So, Derek, I want you to show the covers. Here's some of the covers of, this is issue 1. This is just the covers for issue 1. The variants. That's the first cover there. That's issue A, or should I say cover A. The second one is cover B. Then you got cover C. And then you got the Dennis Cowan 1 in 25, I believe, at the very end to the far right. That's probably the cover everybody wants. But shout out to you if you were able to find it, because to get that in a store, I don't know if anybody, a comic shop, is going to buy $25 to get that 1 in 25. So you may pay a premium to get that either way. So those are that's for issue 1. We got some other covers that you can look at as well. So here's some other new covers here too. So I don't know, Anthony. Some of these covers is fire, bro. Just got to pick it. Now I know somebody was talking about it look like that cover B looked like he was wearing a diaper or something. But yeah. So here's some more covers for the year 1 to Mr. Terrific. So yeah, it's got some good. It got some good covers. Here's the thing too. The covers that you see on the A covers to all of these books are included on all of these on these actual books itself. So you get cover A with if you want a variant cover, you get the cardstock cover, and then you turn the page in the cardstock. The cover A is right there. So DC does you a solid by giving you both covers. So yeah. Now, Styles says, I didn't see those covers. Well, these are future issues. These are future issues that you're looking at right now. The 100 podcast said, yeah, that 125 was Ghost. Yeah, you ain't going to find that in the store. Good luck. That's Dennis Cowan. Listen, let me tell y'all something. When Dennis Cowan is on a cover, trust and believe people going after that because it's Dennis Cowan. And that's an amazing 1 in 25. Yeah. Yeah. J Mac, what's good with you? Thank you for joining us. Salute to the king. L Dog, what up, everybody? This is for the church. Salute. Thank you, bro. Let's go, Derek.
Let's go! Let's go!
Kevin Pitts said the 1 in 25 hit me for $9.99. That's not bad. That's not bad for a 1 in 25, to be honest. The shipping may kill you, but that's not bad for a 1 in 25. Yeah. And you know, this character, you know, it's interesting. This character has been around for a while. His first appearance, we know, is Spectre issue number 54. And he's been in a lot of books. He hasn't gotten a lot of love. Now, he's a legacy character, but he's a legacy character that no one cares about in terms of the first Mr. Terrific. No one cares about the first Mr. Terrific. Even the white fans don't really care about the first Mr. Terrific. He's the white guy, but no one really remembers the first Mr. Terrific. This is the guy that has been the embodiment for DC in terms of their character, Michael Holt. So it's good that legacy characters can be successful. You know, Miles Morales is a legacy character. There are dozens of legacy characters, but they don't do as well as some others, I would say. So yeah. So anyway, going back to the book itself, I think the book was a good read. I'm looking forward to issue number 2. So Sky Caesar, I'm going to ask you to continue to collect the book. It might be you know, hot garbage fire to you, but keep buying these books, bro. These books need all the support they can get. They do. But yeah, and if nothing else, for you comic heads out there, the covers alone ought to have you intrigued to buy the book. But the story written by a black guy too, name is Al. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, I don't have that book in front of me. I got a lot of books in front of, or behind me, I should say. But yeah, Mr. Terrific is all right. Dre Max says, I almost forgot that the original Mr. Terrific was white. One of the few times that has worked. Yeah, it's I don't know, but you know, the white guys don't go crazy over it. So, you know, and Mr. Terrific doesn't get a lot of woke attached to him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of does his thing. He stands on his own outlets, and thank you, Styles. He kind of does his thing. Behind, you know, shout out to my man Paul. Paul is probably working behind the scenes to get an interview with him. So y'all stay tuned for that. We're gonna probably hit you guys with that pretty soon. So we'll see. Yeah. So anyway, y'all go get the book. I thought the book was a solid, you know, 4 out of 5 stars. Is it the best book? No, but at the same time, for what it is, and for the time we're in right now, because you guys don't have really nothing to chat about. There's not a lot of things going on in DC outside of Mr. Terrific right now. Nobody's, we you know, Black Lightning is in the Justice League Unlimited book. He's getting like maybe 2 or 3 lines, maybe 1 or 2 panels, but that's about it. So it's, you know, saying y'all, you know, as far as the DC stuff, DC's got some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you do some comic head, they got some good stuff that you can check out. But, you know, as far as black characters, not a whole lot right now, to be honest. So Charles Stewart III says, yes, that's exactly right. He doesn't get lumped in with the woke because he doesn't upset ruffle feathers racially or socially. No, he doesn't. And, you know, so I don't expect that to be the case with this particular run too. But when you have there's certain characters, and I'm not going to say everyone, but there's certain characters that transcend race. You know, Spawn is one character that transcends race. Even, I'm going to be honest, and this might be a little bold to say, but I'm going to say it. I think T'Challa transcends race. He's known to be Wakandan, right? But culturally or whatever, you know what I'm saying, there are people that are not black that love Black Panther as well. So, you know, some characters, you know, they lean into their identity, and some characters don't necessarily Have to. He's one of them. He says, way better than that Power Company mess. Oh, man, ugh. You talking about dropping the ball. Talking about dropping the ball. Yeah, they dropped the ball. So, but that's that. So anyway, for all of you Mr. Terrific fans, all of you hundreds of thousands of y'all, you know, those that really collect, like my man Herschel. I don't know if Herschel's going to watch this or if he's even up on this, but there is a toy news side article, right, talking about the DC collector edition, Mr. Terrific. Now, this is the Justice Society of America Red Platinum Edition figure. Okay, McFarlane has been just doing the doggone thing. I don't know how long McFarlane's gonna be with the DC stuff, whatever, you know. But this is one of the things that they've done. Now, as you notice, you don't see the red and black and white or whatever. You see the black and gold. Shout out to my man DJ Big Phil in Pittsburgh. He got the Pittsburgh colors on. The T that's on his face is purple, so I don't know what that's about, but I guess that's for effect. But yeah, for you guys that like action figures or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you want something outside the box, because there is a Mr. Terrific with the regular vest on and all that you can get through DC Legends, I want to say. This is a little different, but this is called the Red Platinum Edition figure, a Justice Society figure. It says that for those in Canada, this figure is currently available online at ebgames.com. So, yeah. So all you, it's just no fair play on it. No, not on this one. Not on this one, bro. Style So Serious, Alpha Phi Alpha. Yeah, the Alphas might enjoy this. They might enjoy collect. I don't know if he's an Alpha in the comics. But this is a figure. This is rare. So I thought you guys might be interested in this. I'm not an action figure person, but when I saw this, I was like, you know what? We can just kind of put that out there, and you guys can kind of like, you know, if you want to hunt this down or whatever, then you know, y'all can have at it. Bo Big says McFarlane is out Mattel in as of July 2026 for DC action figures. Okay, that's what's up. So yeah, that's what's going on with that there. So shout out to all the DC Mr. Terrific fans. Y'all got some merch. Don't forget, and there's the, you know, the action figure, the back of the action figure, which is also the cover of the first Mr. Terrific issue 1 book, or the graphic novel that you guys can go get too. So Manifesto, what's good with you? So yeah. That's what's up with that. So anyway, we're gonna keep it pushing, keep it moving, and we're gonna get into some shenanigans when it comes to Black Panther. Okay, y'all know there's a Black Panther book coming. Marvel Knights is coming with a new book. I know some people are upset about it because of what's gonna happen in the book, but y'all still gonna buy this book. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all gonna buy the book. But part of the, promo of this book, The World to Come, featuring Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada, there is a retailers. Retailers are going to get a, he said, now you're trolling. Of course. But the retailers of the shops are going to get a 1 per store black and white variant. So, you hardcore Black Panther fans, y'all might want to holler at your chillmongers. I'm just having fun, bro. I'm just having fun. But yo, you Black Panther fans, I'm a Black Panther fan too, but I know that this is gonna probably go for a little bread. So one per store variant, black and white cover coming out next week. The future of the Marvel Universe is here as 2 most visionary creators in comics in history show you the world to come. The King of Wakanda is dead, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced technology. most precious metal and a cryptic vault of dark secrets while triggering global conflicts among Marvel's heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone, the future of the Marvel 616 universe will be determined by a final tribal challenge for the Wakandan throne and the mysterious victor who will change Wakanda and the Marvel universe forever. So yeah, I know that there are a lot of people who are feeling some type of way the way they've handled T'Challa. And I'm not a fan of this whatsoever, but I am going to buy his book. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to buy this book. Number one is Christopher Priest. That's number one. And to be perfectly honest, most Black Panther fans would not be Black Panther fans without Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther. I love Reginald Hudlin. Reginald Hudlin probably did the most, in my opinion, the most impactful Black Panther run. But the guy who laid the foundation for modern Black Panther is Christopher Priest, bar none. That story that he did called The Client is a flawless story. You could try to poke holes in that story. Good luck with that, because I think it is one of the most perfect Black Panther stories ever told. That guy was amazing on that book. And he made Black Panther a very popular character, because before his run, he was a character that a lot of people liked, but he was more on the cult side. It was cult status. He kind of commercialized or popularized Black Panther through the Marvel Knight stuff. So this is going to be a little different. So take it for what it is, guys. I know they're talking about the 616 is going to change, but look, it's comics. They're going to change this again and again and again and again. You know why? Because it's Marvel. This is what they do. Marvel is the biggest troll. I like to troll sometimes. My man Herschel likes to troll sometimes. But the biggest troll when it comes to Black Panther is Marvel Studios. It is what it is. So anyway, for the hardcore Black Panther fans who want to get the black and white variant, call your shops, let them know, ask them about it. Say, hey, I heard about this book that's coming out. You're gonna have one, book or whatever. They might sell it to you for a little bread, and some people probably gonna, make you pay a tax on it. Either way, you know what I'm saying? I think it will be a cool addition to your collection. He said, bunch of trolls and goblins. Yeah. Priest can't miss on Black Panther and agree he's too important to the character and not to at least respect that. I get people not liking the Cole run as much as, but I didn't mind it. No, in my opinion, the Casper Cole part of Marvel Knight's run, I'm not going to say that he was trolling or that he, I don't even know if because I don't follow Priest like that. I don't know if anybody's ever asked him about Casper Cole and that thing, so I don't want to misspeak. I would just simply say that, I think that by the time we got to quote unquote Casper Cole, Priest probably checked out, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Priest did a lot of Black Panther spoof books. He did a Black Panther he did a Black Panther spoof for Valiant. He did one for DC, the Red Lion character in DC, which is basically DC's version of Black Panther. He did that for them. Matter of fact, I reread that story, I think, yesterday. The two issues, well, actually, it's like three, but two main issues. Issue Justice League 42, 43, I want to say. But he did those issues. And he did a lot of things around kind of poking fun at the character. So, y'all be, as much as I like Priest got jokes. He got jokes too. So let's see. Bo Big said, before Priest, Marvel used to have BP looking like Wild Adi Color. Wiley R. Coyote. Opening an Acme package. Ron Silas says, I'm not excited about this Black Panther run. I'll probably wait for the trade. Okay. Brother Man says, what happened to Zion and Dual Works by Christopher Priest? I'm not sure. Charles Stewart said, we need to petition to get rid of the black tax during Juneteenth. I agree. That black tax is a real thing, y'all. Let's see. Moan says the shop has the Dennis Cowan cover for Mr. Terrific for $22.25. I'm tempted. Yeah, I mean, it's Dennis Cowan. That's all I'm going to say. It's Dennis Cowan. You know, that dude's a legend, and people covet his art. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest Dennis Cowan collector. I don't have any original art by Dennis Cowan. Paul's probably the biggest Dennis Cowan fan I know. Maybe him and maybe Otis and DJ Big Phil. But I am getting the Graphic Samurai. I can't wait for when I get that book, the art of Dennis Cowan. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. The booklet says Hudlin made T'Challa and Aurora more than one-dimensional characters. He did. He did. I feel like he was the most impactful of the writers. I think Hudlin's, run on Black Panther was most impactful, but I think Christopher Priest popularized and put some respect on Black Panther as a character. Yeah, Quad and Woody had a Panther spoof briefly from the light. Rich said Valiant. Yeah, that was funny too. And Christopher Priest, created Quantum and Woody, along with Mark D. Bright, M.D. Bright. So yeah. So, that's one of the reasons why Quantum and Woody is one of my favorite Valiant titles. Matter of fact, I really, be honest, don't mess with a whole lot of stuff outside of Quantum and Woody. I do like Ninjak or Ninja K as far as Valiant goes. I'm not big into the other characters like Harbinger, and there are others. Not Bloodsport, Bloodspot. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah. Says, why did Christopher Priest change his name? I don't know. He was Jim Owsley early on. For those who don't know, I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? It's could be just having a pen name, like was it Samuel Clemens? Was Mark Twain? I want to say. Some writers take a pen name or whatever. So, and Christopher Priest is a little dope when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Versus Owsley. Nothing wrong with that, whatever. But Owsley, some of the Jim Owsley books or have his original name on it. A lot of the DC Green Lantern earlier stuff that he did. So yeah. Kay says, rest in peace to MD Bright. I honestly forgot about the Valiant. I'm such an Image, IDW, Marvel, DC, etc. guy. Yeah. Yeah. MD Bright, I would love to talk to Christopher Priest about his time with MD Bright at Valiant, because Quantum and Woody, for my money, Quantum and Woody is very, very hilarious. I mean, it's about a black and white superhero duo, and it is just hilarious. I mean, some of the stuff that he wrote in that just make you laugh out loud. Those guys were amazing. There's some amazing and cool comic books out here, y'all, that y'all just got to dig and find them. I'm a type of guy where I like to read heavy stuff in terms of comics, but I like to read lighthearted comic book, zany, goof, out of this world, magical, crazy, bonkers, goofy stuff as well. And that run that he did, the first 2 volumes of Quantum and Woody, are crazy. So yeah. So let's see what else we got. So anyway, with that said, guys, we're gonna just go ahead and transition to whatever you want to talk about on tonight. We got a few more minutes here. 1 in 100 podcast. I second that. Great story. Definitely needed that balance. Shout out to the OG for putting me on. That's what's up. Cases Quantum and Woody. I've heard it was based on conversations that Priest and Bright had. Needless to say, they got on each other's nerve. They probably did, you know what I'm saying? But it was funny though. It's a funny comic book. It's a slept on book that two creatives, artist and writer, did, and they did it for an independent title. And it's definitely a welcome getaway from the big two. You know what I'm saying? When you find Magic and other independent, companies, Valiant at one time had a nice run. And then all of a sudden it got weird and people started buying it. They went nearly bankrupt. And, I'm still mad at Valiant because they did not honor MD Bright when he passed as well, too. I don't really give Valiant the smoke because, I don't expect Valiant to do anything right because they hadn't done right in a while. They got Shadow Man, which is, in my opinion, what Dr. Voodoo should be for Marvel. But that's another story for another day. But they do have Shadow Man, and they haven't done right by that character. They keep putting out volumes of books or whatever, but they hadn't done right by that character. That character needs a real infusion and real investment, like from what they did when they first put that character out. Manifesto says, it says real quick, back to Blade. Manifesto says, Mark Bright illustrated much of my golden era of collecting. That's what's up. Brother Man says, I heard Hulk is supposed to be the next Spider-Man movie coming out. Is that true? Not sure. I've not heard that, bro. One podcast says, I don't want Blade right now. The MCU is slowly dying. Don't call for Blade now. Everything the MCU touches is turning to dust right now. I don't want that for Blade. So here's the thing about that. And this is how you know the MCU is really dying, y'all. This is how you know the MCU is really dying. Thunderbolts flopped. The best MCU movie that they've had for a couple of years. It flopped. It tanked, meaning that regardless that it was a white film, regardless that it was an all-white cast, now they say go woke, go broke. Go white, it ain't right. The MCU has fell on its face. It is terrible. But the thing is, Thunderbolts was amazing. Thunderbolts was amazing. And it flopped. That's all you need to know, that the MCU is on its deathbed. Y'all can hold out for hope for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Man, it's not looking good. Scott Caesar says if they ever do a Blade movie, a la Matt Reeves' Batman, it should separate from the sinking ship formerly called the MCU. Vampires have no place in the colorful quip land. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Yep. Now, somebody asked me, Moan says, Rich, did you pick up that Captain Planet comic? Look, as much as I am a closeted Captain Planet fan from the cartoons. Derek, I don't know if you can find a Captain Planet comic book cover or for issue 1, but could you find that for us? Let's talk about that for a quick second. Some things are just like, it's cool to like watch it on TV as a cartoon, but can I really like take that serious? Captain Planet and I probably should know better at this point. It might be good. So you tell me, is it good or not? Because the dude with the flat top and the shag or the mullet or what. I just don't know. Not the Mark Bright, bro. I'm talking about the Captain Planet cover. So, yeah. What's going on, Sierra? He said they should bring that Captain Planet cartoon back to Disney. Yeah. So, I mean, I might have to check it out. Now, I will say I slept on Space Ghost. There's a lot of people talking about how good the Space Ghost comic book was. I was a Space Ghost fan from the cartoons or whatever. And I am reading the Herculoids in comic book form. That was one of my favorite cartoons. And that was the one thing, or the one comic book that I wanted to, or one IP I wanted to see in comics was the Herculoids. But I never thought that they would actually do a Captain Planet comic book. So I'm gonna let y'all tell me about it. If you thought it was dope, then let me know. I might go get it. But look at dude, bro. I can't take that serious. I can't. What's he gonna fight? Is he gonna fight pollution or is he gonna fight COVID? We need Captain Planet right now because there's a new COVID variant that just hit the U.S. shores. Y'all be careful. So Manifesto says they did Taskmaster dirty in Thunderbolts. They did. Taskmaster shot one scene and got shot. Now, Taskmaster is a dope character in terms of the comic books. I did not like what they did to Taskmaster. I wanted Taskmaster to be the Taskmaster from the comic books. They gender swapped that character. I wasn't tripping. It was okay for what it was in terms of the Taskmaster story in the first MCU movie that she was in. But I really wanted that character to be the Taskmaster from the comic books. But yeah, you're right. In Thunderbolts, I mean, I kind of thought it was a black person, because that's what they do in horror movies or whatever. The black person first one to die. They got her out of there quick, fast, in a hurry. So yeah. So Kay is like, he's not hype style. Let me see what he says. I want to see Luke Cage return in the MCU in a major movie. Somebody give Ryan Coogler the keys to the kingdom. Give Kevin Feige his walking papers and let Ryan work his magic to bring the funk. Hype style. That sounds good until, well, maybe he could do that. I don't really. I'm having a hard time with Ryan Coogler and Black Panther. I'm still trying to reconcile that relationship. To be honest with you, I'm still trying to reconcile Wakanda Forever in my brain. And I tell people that Wakanda Forever was a good movie. I just didn't like it. I think that for what it was, the story itself, it was a good movie in terms of cinematic display and that kind of thing. Beautiful. But as far as the story, didn't like it. So I don't know. We'll see. It's the same dude that wrote Space Ghost OG. Okay, so maybe I may have to go back and get a late pass as far as, because I do know I missed the boat on Space Ghost. I do know that. Taskmaster can't catch a break in the MCU. Yep, they can't. Let's see. What else we got? Scott said, are we not feeling the power company? I personally find Black Batman absurd. I'm always here for Duke and Vixen DC playing with me, and to bring back Martian Manhunter in the absolute title. Well, I think that the power company situation was unfortunate when they hit us with that one shot, and they gave us basically, that wasn't the power company of comic book. That was a Jace Fox comic book. That's what that was. That was all the focus was on Jace Fox. And I just kind of like, okay, if you're going to give us a Jace Fox Batman, Black Batman story, then do that. But why go through this whole thing about the Power Company and the Black Lightning Limited series and do the Power Company back in Black History Month to give us this one shot, the Power Company recharged and then not go nowhere. It was literally a one shot that really went nowhere. Ain't no telling when we're going to see the Power Company again. So I just think they missed the ball on that. That was, to your point, Scott, absurd. Charles Stewart says, so Rich, you're basically saying if Wakanda Forever didn't happen, then Ryan Coogler will still be in your good graces. Yeah, I mean, I think that, listen, and I'm being facetious when I say about Ryan Coogler being in my good graces. I think that Ryan Coogler was a human being who expressed himself as human beings do at our expense. We wanted T'Challa recast it. That didn't happen. They gave us a story where basically T'Challa had an illegitimate child hanging out in Haiti, and we had to endure 2 funerals, T'Challa's funeral and then Queen Ramonda's funeral, Angela Bassett's character. We had to endure that in the theaters. Black pain is a currency that Hollywood continues to break bread and get money over. And I'll be honest, I was just not feeling that as far as, and I get it, that was his friend, and I love Chadwick Boseman, and he probably loved Chadwick Boseman more than me because they were friends. They were, not only, worked together, actor, director, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They put this movie together in terms of Black Panther, and they did something magical. And, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, okay, as a comic book head, I wanted to see T'Challa back on screen. I didn't want to see T'Challa Jr. I didn't want to see that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not, like I say, I'm still kind of looking at Coogler's side out about that, because here you turn around, after you do that, you give everybody this amazing movie called Sinners, right? And it's kind of like, it's all forgiven. Great movie. I'll take it back. Not great movie, very good movie. But am I just over that? Maybe not. Maybe not. I know people that have seen Wakanda Forever and only once. I punished myself and watched it multiple times. It is what it is. But to me, I'm not going to be happy with what they do with T'Challa in the MCU until they recast that character. Now it looks like they may not recast that character, and they may want us to accept T'Challa Jr. or T'Challa. If that's what they want to do, and make the King of Wakanda an illegitimate child or whatever, I don't own the product. I mean, I don't own the IP. They do it with it, because in their minds, they might think that they're doing something great. In their minds, they might be thinking they're doing something noble, but they're not doing the comic book fans any favors whatsoever. Let's see. Alonso's process. Once Ryan Coogler went ahead with killing T'Challa off in the MCU, I have zero faith in him going forward with Black characters in superhero movies. We're going to get this Eyes of Wakanda animation. We'll see what happens with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that I'm hoping it's very entertaining, and I'm hoping that it adds something to the Wakandan lore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be one of those people that, you know what I'm saying, I'm just not going to dismiss Marvel altogether because they won't get that part of the IP correct or whatever. I think that, either you accept certain things or you don't. And if you don't, then it doesn't matter what they do or whatever. And in my opinion, because I'm black pill when it comes to this, I don't expect them to do the right thing. So I'm not going to my expectations for Marvel in regards to Wakanda, in regards to the character T'Challa, is very low. So I can watch it, whatever they put on screen, and look at it through a certain lens, not upset, not irritated, not angered by it, because I accept the fact that this is a company that is owned by Disney, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And if I watch it, I'm not going to let them. They're not going to live rent free in my head over this. They're just not. I'm a comic head first and foremost. Comic book, animation and movies is second for me. Scott says, don't forget what he did to Queen Angela. I've been looking at Coogler with a side eye. He's a little too worried about intersections and inclusiveness for me. I won't deny the talent, though. That's what's up. I agree with that. I agree with that, Scott, for real. Robert Monroe Jr. says, I saw Black Panther 4 in the theater, 12, I guess, and many times at home. I saw Wakanda Forever once in the theater and once at home. Okay. Brother Man says, Eyes of Wakanda doesn't seem to look right in my opinion. I hope they change it or something different occurs to help me change my opinion. Again, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the end product is going to be. I don't want to misjudge it before I see it. I'll say it like that. I'm not part of the inner circle of Marvel. They're not going to send us. They're not going to send Black Comic Lords an advanced clip of it or whatever. I wish I would. Hit us up at blackcomiclords@gmail.com if you want to, Marvel. But if they do, you know what I'm saying, I'm hoping that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But is my thoughts about what they do, how they do it, I just refuse to let them live rent free in my head. Now, it might be one of those things where, am I okay spending my money doing this? I'm not okay with spending my money on certain things, whatever, but I'm not going to spaz out over what's theirs. You know what I'm saying? I want Black owned IPs to give us dope stories so we can celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the Black comic book fan or the Black MCU fan has a lot to celebrate in terms of Marvel is concerned. Maybe Black Panther was it. But after that, it's been downhill ever since, to be honest. Charles Stewart says, to play devil's advocate, what if they recast T'Challa? But then when we'll be comparing him to Chadwick, that's going to happen. That's par for the course, bro. Even if they're doing a AAA performance, do you think we'll put our comparison aside at the movie? No, because listen, I'll be transparent here with you guys. I've said it on my channel. I'll say it when Chadwick died. I said to some people that I didn't care if they recast it because I felt like this movie was perfect, and that if it's a one-off, they don't want to go back to it. I'm fine with it. Now, after I got over my grief, because that was me and my grief. After I got over my grief, I was like, you know what? They need to recast the character. But I didn't stand on that hill. I wasn't on that don't recast hill very long. When I got over my grief, because again, the way he died, I myself had had my own battle with cancer. And to know that this dude was doing that, filming this movie, it touched me so that, and I was devastated. I was devastated. I still deal with, and sometimes I still deal with survivor's remorse because I've had buddies that have died of cancer. And I question, whether or not I'm worthy to be here. Because I looked at my friends that passed away as better men and said, you know what, God, why am I here? This person was better. He should probably have been here, not me. But it's not for me to question that. But I dealt with survivor's remorse. So for me, it was very personal. I didn't look at the comic books. I didn't look at the representation. I didn't look at it at that time. I didn't look at it like that. I was literally in my grief. Going back to what Mr. Terrific was going through. When you're in grief, you do some things that you don't sign up for when it comes to grief. You're not that logical. If you could be logical in your grief, God bless you. That's a talent, because when you're really grieving or whatever, some things don't make sense. You will do things, you will neglect things, you won't care about things. It is what it is. But I want them to recast the character. Absolutely, 100%. Styles says, y'all don't like wait until you get your Scorsese Black Panther. Man, look, I'm not going to. Anyway, Brother Man says, if they recast T'Challa, he does a good job, we won't compare, but to keep, stalling is not the right move. It never is. Gay says, I agree with the skepticism of Marvel MCU treatment of T'Challa in Wakanda. Worst case scenario, I'll just stick with the classic books. I understand their content and usually geared not toward most of us. Not geared toward most of us. Brother Man 2, Gen V Season 2 kills off Chance and Andre doesn't recast the character, so another black character done wrong. But at least they address it. And now Spider says, people were most likely comparing Michael Keaton to Val Kilmer to George Clooney to Christian Bale to Ben Affleck. DC didn't have a problem recasting Bruce Wayne Batman, even though none of them died. Let me tell you something. There's something to that for sure. That's definitely a great point, Anansi. I feel like that they should recast the character. Why did they wait or whatever? Again, the situation with Marvel, from what we heard, was that, Marvel was like, whatever you want to do, Ryan, we're good with it. You don't want to do it? We won't do it. They literally could have took a moment to breathe, because I honestly feel like that's probably what they should have did. They should have just came back to this later and not given us that Wakanda Forever movie. And by this time, you'd have been like, you know what? It's time to recast the character. But they didn't do that. They made a decision. And I don't think that they cared about what we as consumers, fans of T'Challa, fans of the MCU cared. Marvel and DC are very different companies. Very different companies. Let's see. Kay said, I get it's different circumstances, but we get multiple Jokers, multiple Hulks, multiple Supes in films, countless Spider people. So I understand people saying it is a cop-out not to push a black character. I mean, the whole situation with, listen, the situation with T'Challa is, one of the things that Black Comic Lords that we do is we try to uplift all our characters. But we're grounded enough and have sense enough to understand that T'Challa is the apex predator. We got sense enough to understand that T'Challa is the king of the mountain. We want everybody to like Falcon. We want everybody to like, Black Goliath. We want everybody to like Triathlon. We want everybody to like all of our superheroes, all of our characters. But we understand that T'Challa is the gold standard. And to see him be treated that way is very disheartening. And the question becomes, would this happen to another character? No. But it's happening to a black character in real time. And you're watching people go through a real struggle with entertainment in terms of representation, in terms of the MCU. All of us are dealing with this in one way or the other. No one is looking at the MCU like it's the best thing since sliced cheese. All of us looking at the MCU with a side eye. But what gets me through it all is that, you know what? I'm a comic head first and foremost, and I want to see these characters on screen or whatever. I want my favorite characters to be on screen, sure. But if my other favorite character's not on screen, or if these other characters are on screen, I'm going to give me a bucket of popcorn. I'm going to give me a tub of drink, and I'm going to go to the movies, and I'm going to enjoy myself for what it is. Some people were of the opinion that, you know what, I'm not going to go see the Thunderbolts, which is why it flopped. Everybody said, man, it's a great movie. It still flopped. That's how bad the MCU is right now. People don't even care to go to the theaters no more. Let's see. He said, Rich, I agree. Spider-Man said, but 4 years is a long wait between 1 and 2. I agree. Star Stewart III says, I'll push back on that just a little bit in regards to the Batman comparison. Both Batman and James Bond historically known for recasting new actors for the characters. Charles Stewart says, but as soon as we get the MCU, it did something incredibly different that had never happened before. It literally broke the idea, community lapse. The MCU became the world outside your window. Style So Serious is written, not to cut you off, but I remember Feige a couple weeks after Chadwick's death saying they won't recast T'Challa. I think this falls mostly on him. Possibly. Charles Stewart III says, for the exception one or two characters, every character that's been in the MCU has been played by the same actor in nearly his 30-year run. Scott Caesar said, unpopular opinion, the only way to elevate most black comic characters with their top tier writers, they don't always have to have black writers on these titles. It's just an excuse to be cheap and lazy. Ooh, that's strong, my brother. That's kind of strong. I can't disagree. That's kind of strong. So yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is, guys. I don't have the answers. And one thing about me when it comes to the MCU, I don't have the answers. OG Rich don't have the answers. OG Rich is just like anybody that's going to the theaters to see something or whatever. You know, I want it to be this, I want it to be that or whatever, but I don't always get what I want. I don't always get what I feel like we quote unquote deserve. But that's entertainment. And you know, and the thing about the MCU is there was a time that the MCU could do no wrong. But now we've seen the MCU is on its back. It's on its deathbed. It literally is on its deathbed. And so while we have this movie, The Fantastic Four, coming out in July, or later on this summer, I guess, I'm just like, okay, is this going to rejuvenate the MCU? I don't know. I don't know if we can save the MCU, to be honest. I just don't know. And does the black comic book fan or does the black MCU fan care about the Fantastic Four? Probably not. But the thing is, the Fantastic Four as a IP is responsible for the first appearance of T'Challa. Fantastic Four 52 is the first appearance of Black Panther. Maybe Black Panther makes an appearance in the MCU like this. Probably ain't gonna happen, but stranger things have happened. If I was to hope for anything, maybe it's that. But again, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go see I'm gonna go see the movie. I'm gonna go see the Fantastic Four. I'm gonna go see Superman. So yeah. Now, 101 on podcast asked the question. I'm gonna ask the question: do you think Chad wanted Black Panther to be one and done? I mean, I knew he was sick just asking the question. No, he didn't want it just to be done. No, he didn't want it to be done. He wanted it to go on. He wanted that character to go on. Absolutely. Tron World hit us with the super chat. Thanks, Tron World. Appreciate you. Let's go.
Show me the money. Yeah! Louder! Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. I love black people.
Yeah. Now, Brother Man says Chad wanted T'Challa, Black Panther to continue, but nobody is taking the reins on lead to do. Chad gave his blessings, so that is something else. Something, I guess. I mean, you know, look, I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on in the heads of the people at Marvel Studios. I'm not going to pretend that. I'm not going to also pretend that this isn't messed up, that they can't get this right, that they refuse to get this right, that the MCU and the comic books are not fully functional. It's crazy. We're getting a lot of quote unquote Black Panther Wakanda-esque type stuff, but not necessarily T'Challa as king. He's in the MCU. He's doing different things. He's in the Avengers book. We don't have a Black Panther run, though in my humble opinion, as a comic book head, I care about that more than anything. The MCU stuff is like a distant second. Where is our Black Panther King of T'Challa run? I want that. Ultimate Black Panther has been great. I'm enjoying it. But when are y'all going to make T'Challa the king of Wakanda? That's what I want to see. I don't want him in the team book. He's been in a ton of Avenger books, been the leader, president, all of that good stuff. He's going to be in Imperial. We know that. The space Black Panther, the Wakanda Empire, Wakanda, is going to be in that. Get that. Where is the Black Panther title? That's what I want to know. He said, Manifest say, did he ask Jerry to scream, I love black people? I don't think he did. So, yeah. So, Anansi says, and Feige and Coogler most likely knew that Chadwick wanted Black Panther to continue, but it was decided to kill the character off anyway. I do not understand that. And Coogler had to understand. He had to know that that was going to upset some people. If he didn't know that that was going to upset some people, he was not thinking about the comic book fans at all. At all. He looked at this as 100% a Hollywood thing to get some bread. And that's kind of foul. I don't want to think about. I don't want to think of my brother like that. But am I giving him the side eye? Do I want him anywhere near the MCU product when it comes to Black Panther? Not really, to be honest. Because I'm like, man, you gotta know that that was gonna hurt. That hurt a lot of young boys. That hurt a lot of young boys. It really did. Yeah. Kay says the MCU should have called itself 616 like they deeply care for comic lore. Styles of Serious says Superman is going to break the box office. Marvel will get the scraps. I do think so. I think Superman's going to be a banger. Manifesto says that's exactly what it wanted, was bread. That's kind of, and that's a sobering reality when you think about it. But for that to go from $1.3 billion to 800,000, I think that kind of set the tone. And I know some people say because of the economics or whatever, that kind of compares. It really doesn't. $1 billion is $1 billion. 800 million is different. That's different. That's a whole lot of folk to say, you know what? I've seen this. I'm not going to see it again. Because I know I saw Black Panther twice before I took my wife. I'm not the biggest Black Panther fan, and I always say that, but I need you to understand how locked in I was with this when this movie came out. I saw the movie twice before I took my wife to go see it. And my wife, when she saw it, she was excited. She loved the Dora Milaje. But it was one of those things where I remember going to see it, and I saw it opening day. And I know that for me, one of the best times I ever had in the theater. Yep. So anyway, Kay says that I heard that Sinners was based off a script for Blade. Happy he can do his own thing and be praised for it, but he ain't for me, respectfully. It is what it is. Brother Man said I heard Aquaman 3 was supposed to come out in August, so is that true? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with the last time I heard up there, Jason Momoa was gearing up to play Lobo. I'm not sure if they did another movie. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. I don't mess with the Hollywood or the MCU stuff like that. I get the MCU stuff secondhand. Shout out to my man Amir, he 101 podcast. He digs into the MCU deeper than I do. Y'all give my man a follow. Go to Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and y'all holler at my man Amir, 101 podcast. Yep. Jurassic Manifesto said Jurassic has star power to back up a played idea. Yeah. So look, guys, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I've had fun, and again, I don't have the answers. I'm not going to pretend to have the answers. If you're looking for the OG to have the answers, I'm trying to figure this out just like y'all. But what I do know is that God is good. And as long as there's a comic book to read, a movie to go see, enjoy yourselves. With that said, I'm going to get you guys with the benediction. The benediction comes from Psalm 145, verse number 8. It simply says that the Lord is good to all, and his mercies are all over his works. From the stronghold that is Black comic lords and Black superheroes forever, it's your boy Rich. And until next time, we say peace. We'll see you when we see you. Take care of yourselves. We out.